Shalom. This is Brother Amath coming to you from the GMS Toronto camp. Coming to you with another video. It's a quick one. It's a news update. So I'm going to start off by giving all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakal Kadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well and have started this word in truth and sincerity. Peace and mercy to the hopeful elect, pushing this word in truth and sincerity across the four corners of the earth. And salutations to the hopeful 1/3 that may listen out there on the four corners of the earth. So this is a news update. You can see it says Kremlin reveals new independent Russian-Chinese financial system. And basically, these are two superpowers, right? Russia being the number one superpower, but China's a superpower as well. And they have a common enemy, which is America. Brakathe Hal Bashim Yashai, Bashim Kakadash is 441. Spiritual number. So yeah, these are two superpowers who are breaking off, they're creating their own financial system. And they're breaking off the American dollar. Right? And this is prophecy. Right? So I'm gonna read the article, a bit of the article, and then bring out just a few precepts through the Spirit, Lord willing. So it says Russia and China will develop shared financial structures to enable them to deepen economic ties in a way that foreign states will be unable to influence. Foreign states, including America, so they won't be able to influence, because when you go into the history of World War I and World War II, I'm pretty sure after World War I, America played a middleman and took a back seat, basically, and let these other nations fight among themselves while they were supplying the goods for the war, making a lot of money. Okay, and it wasn't until like the last 6 months of the war they actually had, troops on the floor, on the ground. But I'm pretty sure after World War II, America had 2/3 of the world's gold, 2/3 of it. So that instantly put them in power. And there was a treaty, the Bretton Woods system. Okay, you can search that up and see what that's talking about. But the Bretton Woods system, simply summed up, was a system where all nations were to all the currency in the world. So all nations, because America had 2/3 of the world's gold, the new currency of the world would be America's dollar, the American dollar, the dollar standard, which was supposed to be backed by gold. But obviously, knowing, Satan, knowing these devils, Esau, Edom, these elites, this was based off an honor system. So they didn't really have nothing set up to make sure that there was going to be a consistent supply of gold per dollar that was printed. And obviously they printed more dollars, into currency than there was gold. And all the other nations of the world would have to go off of this currency. So now, fast forward to now, you have nations of the world. I think a couple months ago, 22 countries of the world, 22 or 23 countries of the world banned the American dollar. So, America is crumbling, man. It's crumbling. And this financial system is going to be play a major factor in America's demise. All right? In America's demise. So it says in ways that foreign states will be unable to influence. The Kremlin has announced following talks between the country's leaders. The move appears to be a response to a series of warnings that Western nations, America, could push to disconnect Russia from the Brussels banned SWIFT financial system as a form of sanctions. The payment platform underpins the vast majority of international transactions. During the talks on Wednesday, Russian President Vladimir Putin and his Chinese counterpart Jinping called for increasing the share of national currencies in mutual settlements and expanding corporations to provide Russian and Chinese investors with access to stock markets. And Yuri Yushchenko, Putin's foreign policy advisor, said particularly attention was paid to the need to intensify efforts to form a independent financial infrastructure to service trade operation between Russia and China. We mean creating an infrastructure that cannot be influenced by third countries, the Kremlin aide added. Ahead of the video summit, Kremlin press secretary Dmitry Peskov hinted that economic discussions were likely to be on the agenda for the two heads of state. Both Russia and China are said to be increasingly looking to move away from using the US dollar. See, there you go. Both Russia and China are said to be increasingly looking to move away from the US dollar as the main currency of the international trade, instead using their own denominations to underpin the booming volume of Moscow-Beijing trade. Last week, U.S. Undersecretary of State Victoria Nuland said that the White House, along with a number of Western European nations, right, the EU, was mulling completely isolating Moscow from the global financial system should Russian troops dare to invade Ukraine. So, hey, man, this whole thing is, man, the Most High is stirring up the nations. He's stirring up the nations. He's having things brew, and that's going to really be a big setback for America to have two superpowers leave their financial system, the dollar, the US dollar, because that's a sign of war. That's a pretext of war. And that's really a boastful message saying that we don't need your dollar, man. All right? Because these nations understand, these other nations, okay, understand that the American dollar is backed by nothing. They understand the corruptness of the American dollar. All right? America was built upon lies. And these other nations are understanding that. That's why I think at the end of World War II, Germany was asking for all their gold back. All right? And then all the other European nations followed suit and started asking for their gold back. And what did Nixon do? Nixon stopped the transferring, of gold basically in the 1930s. Okay? I think it was 1960s. Yeah, 1965, he basically stopped that so that other nations couldn't, receive gold or get their gold back. So these other nations are, they're on to America, man. They're on to these elites and their plans and their agenda and their lies. You see. So there's more on the article. I'm not going to read the rest of it. You could read it for yourself if you like. But I got a precept. One precept comes to mind for this. Let's go. James Salake. James chapter 5. Let me start at 1. It says, "Go to now, ye rich men, weep and howl for your miseries that shall come upon you." That's right, man, because the American dollar, now, you start from the elites, top banking families. They're not worried about America losing, America's dollar crashing. They're not worried about that because they have, you see, in their minds, they think that they're gonna escape, which they will. They will escape America's destruction and be put into bunkers and hide away in their bunkers, nice comfy bunkers. But the men of the Lord with Yahweh Shai, the elect, are gonna be coming down, and they're gonna wake up to garments and shackles and chains. All right. But for all you other small hats below the banking families, the top banking families, you guys you're gonna howl and you're gonna weep because the American dollar is gonna crash, and all that money that you base your life upon and your strength, all right, your strength over the people. Because really, when you go into the currency, all right, it was established to have control over the people. All right, to keep control over people, because there's nothing backing up our dollar. The moment, this dollar crashes and the government says it's of no value, that's it, man. All hell will break completely loose. All right, it's gonna be like, well, you got police officers already saying that Los Angeles, California, there is already like the show Purge. But that's going to come upon all of Western America, parts of Europe too as well. Okay, so it says, "Go to now, ye rich men, weep and howl for your miseries that shall come upon you. Your riches are corrupted," right? "And your garments are moth-eaten. Your gold and silver is cankered." What does that mean? That means, the American dollar is not backed by anything, like I said earlier. No gold, no silver. You can't go to the bank today and trade your $20 bill or your federal note for any gold. All right? So that's corrupt. It's not backed by anything, because real money is gold and silver, land, cattle, livestock, right? Going all the way back to Egypt, the bartering system, there was a bartering system based upon trade, right? But when you